joined right now on RealAgriculture.com by Richard Phillips. He is with the Grain Growers of Canada, Executive Director, and we're at FarmTech 2012. Welcome today, Richard.
Good, thanks very much.
Richard, you spoke today about farmers, their voice. What was your message to the growers?
The message to the growers is that, you know what, if you're organized and you do your job well, you guys can make a big difference in Ottawa. Like, you can really influence agriculture policy, but you have to go about it the right way. You just can't, take a shot in the dark and expect people are going to respond to you. We really encourage people, work through your actual associations. When you bond together and you build larger coalitions, then MPs will listen to you. And so the more people in your coalition, the more effective you are going to be.
So traditionally, at times, we've had some issues. People farmers sometimes make the mistake of throwing lawn darts, so to speak, or showing up and stomping their fists. It's really about being a part of the process, correct?
It is, and being being abrasive does not take you anywhere. And that was one of the messages: is that when you go in, always be professional. Know what you want to say. Keep your messages short and crisp. 3 or 4 points, 3 or 4 people maximum. The MP can then focus on each one of you, and he will listen carefully what you have to say. If you're going to be abrasive, if you're going to say, and if you don't do this, then people aren't going to vote for you. If you start threatening in any way, shape, or form, the meetings just go sideways. You can respectfully disagree, and if you're too far apart with an MP, just say, you know what, we just have to agree to disagree, and let's move on to something else where we have common ground.
Is there a fine line, though, between being, a part of the process and maybe taking a bit of a softer approach and being, not really getting your message heard?
Yeah. Well, one way to be heard is to actually have a relationship with the MP by going in there more regularly. And if it's your MP in your local riding, go in and meet with them more often. Like, they do like to hear from real people. And once you have the personal relationship and they knows who you are and where you're coming from, you're going to get a far more attention, and people will actually listen to you, and you'll say, you know what, let me run with that and see what I can do within my caucus. And you get champions within a caucus, within government, to help push the minister.
When you're talking to government as a farm organization or as an individual farmer, is it better to work through the representative or their staff?
Well, you can do either one. Directors. Are you talking the MPs?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to have relationships with both, quite frankly, because the staff are the ones who write the briefing notes for them. They're the ones who say, these are the people that came in to meet with us. And the staff are the ones who say, I highly recommend you meet with Sean. He's got some really good stuff. Let's set up a meeting. So it's both. You need a relationship with both, because the staff open the doors to you.
So as time has gone on in your career, do you feel that you've probably seen some real train wrecks in terms of trying to convince government of certain things?
Yes. Yeah.
What would you look upon as one of the situations that went very well in terms of the approach? Do you have an example?
Well, I would go back to, say, lobbying for business risk management programs, for example. If you want specific changes, I look at how we sit down and we spend 3 or 4 hours with Agriculture Canada so that we really understand all the nuances. Because if you don't actually understand all those nuances and you go in and you lobby because you've had a good idea on the tractor seat, per se, sometimes you don't understand all the repercussions from it. And so we find that when we go in and talk on BRM, we understand the program so well, we know exactly what we're talking about, and the minister can't say, well, what about this or what about that, because we address that in our opening comments. And so being well prepared is what will make you really successful.
I can see it really helping to actually know what you really want, too.
Yeah.
So if you get the question back, well, what do you guys want? Like, this is an issue, but what do you want?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You're wasting time.
Yeah, we just don't want this. Well, you need clear asks, and that's one of the messages was 3 or 4 points, and if you're in there for a 30-minute meeting, don't take it in a big group, because it takes 10 minutes just to introduce everybody, and then people have their messages mixed up, and somebody goes, well, I want to speak to this, even if they don't need to speak to it. Take 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 points, and get to your point really quickly. Just be right up front. You don't need to give them 20-minute background in your organization. Just say, here's who we are, and here's what we're looking for, and that's what we want to talk about. Done. And then just get right into it. And that's what will get MPs' attention. After you leave, they've got more meetings backed up. There's people in there before you, there's people lined up after you, and they're busy people. So get to your point, and they will appreciate it too.